All right, we are going to start. Can everyone see my screen here clearly? And just a show of hands, how many of you are currently running Google Ads? Just put a yes in chat or a one, drop there in chat if you can see my screen and you're running Google Ads. All right, a couple of you. All right, great. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is how Google Ads are failing and how to improve it. And I title this "Stop Letting Google Steal Your Money" because Google will give you a lot of bad advice when it comes to running an account. And I know that seems crazy. I'll explain more about that in a few slides here. But this is a shorter presentation, but it is extremely, extremely important that you pay attention to these points because these are the easiest ways to blow money on Google. And I've seen it time and time again. So these are the top 5 reasons, and these are the top 5 ways that you'll lose money when you're running Google Ads. And the first one is tracking, which I'm going to talk about in depth because that's one of the most important topics. It's not the most exciting topic, but it is very important. Smart campaigns, match types, negative keywords, and landing pages. So these are all relatively easy concepts, but a lot of people get these wrong. And as a result, they lose tons and tons of money in Google. And if you have a little bit of knowledge of this stuff, and let's say you're not running your Google Ads, an agency is, you can go in there and look and see, are these things being done? And if they are, it should be your first red flag and say, okay, something needs to change because this will save you money. I guarantee it. So just to give you a quick background on us and are we even qualified to talk about this stuff? So we spent close to $50 million on ads. This is me and my brother here. We run most of the ads here at our company. So again, $50 million in ad spend is a lot of money. We've done this over the course of almost 10 years now. We've learned a thing or two spending all this money. Okay. We scaled lots of big companies when we were generalists and now we're focused on legal. So again, we've done this for quite some time. We worked with over 300 clients over the years, and we are Google Premier partners. And so what the Google Premier partnership is we have a dedicated team at Google. We are in the top percentage of agencies running ad accounts at Google. And so they measure things like growth. Obviously, we have to test on their platform to make sure we're up to date on the most recent betas and the changes they're rolling out. So again, it just shows that, we're in the top tier of agencies when it comes to running Google Ads. And again, that's the top 3% of agencies have that status. So it is kind of a small club. So is Google a bad guy? I title this that way, number one, to get your attention, but number two, to let you know that Google is somewhat of a good guy and somewhat of a bad guy. So how Google makes money, and about 90%, I believe, of Google's monetization comes from Google Ads. So this is their primary driver of money and revenue for the company. So they want you to spend money on Google Ads. And they have created a bunch of creative ways for you to waste money on that platform. And what a lot of people will do when they're running Google Ads is they'll get impressed with the amount of clicks coming to their website or the amount of ads that you can show or how many impressions you're getting. These are all vanity metrics. These are not metrics that you can take to the bank. These are not metrics that are going to grow your firm. So when we focus on Google Ads, we focus on how many leads are you getting and how many clients are you getting off those leads. Google does not report that in the platform. So when I say Google is a good guy, it's important for you to understand Google's mission. Google's mission is to provide the best answer to people when they search for it. If Google did not provide good answers, they would not be in business because people view them as a quality resource for their questions and for their needs. Google it has become a part of our language today because they have such a valuable platform and they provide such a valuable service in that they give us answers to our questions. Okay, so that is why they're the good guy, because they do a great job of providing quality resources. And they do this both on the organic side and on the paid ad side. Now, why are they the bad guys? Okay, so when Google runs ads for you, or when you set up ads in the platform, there are literally hundreds of settings in the platform that if you uncheck one thing or you check one thing, it can show your ads to very low qualified people that you don't want to do business with, people that are clicking your ads accidentally. And so there are a lot of ways that they trick you into spending money. They will impress you with the vanity metrics, like how many clicks you're getting and how many impressions you're getting. And if you don't pay attention to this, like if you're not keeping a pulse on Google very closely, you can waste a lot of money and not get much out of it. And this is why people have a bad taste of Google in their mouth. It's a very complicated platform, more complicated than Facebook, TikTok, and these other platforms. It is a bear of a platform. So The other reason that I say Google is somewhat of a bad guy is when you call Google support or when you have Google set up campaigns for you, the people who are helping you set up the campaigns are given a script and they give you really, really bad advice. Typically, their advice is raise your bids, meaning pay more per click, which again is self-serving for Google. The other advice they give you is bid on broad keywords, which I will talk about broad keywords in this presentation. That is another really bad piece of advice. And then they'll tell you raise your budgets. Like that is the typical humdrum of Google. Even our premier partnership team advises us against things that we don't agree with. And we act as almost the people protecting our clients. It's important to have an agency or someone who knows how to run Google protect you against Google. Like I said, they're not completely a bad guy. They're not completely a good guy. You have to tread carefully when it comes to Google's advice because a lot of their advice is self-serving. They make money by you spending money, but they need you to get results. So it's kind of a fine balance. Okay. Enough said about Google being a good guy or a bad guy. We're going to get into the more tactical topics of this presentation, where we see things go wrong and how to fix them. Okay, so the first thing, and I would say that this is the most important thing out there. It is actually a massive issue in the industry. In fact, we literally yesterday audited an account that's spending $1 million a month, and they didn't have this right. So a lot of people get this wrong, and it's really not that hard to implement. It's just one of those things that people don't think about if you're not used to running ads. And so tracking is huge online. And the cool thing about online is you can track everything. You can track who's clicked on your site, what pages they visited, where did they come from? Did they turn into a lead? Did they turn into a sale? And all of these things are very, very powerful, which is why digital advertising as a whole is so powerful, because you can track everything down to the detail and see where you're making the most money. You don't get this kind of granularity with billboards or TV or newspaper articles or magazines. It's kind of lost. You shotgun the money out and you hope it comes back later. You don't really know what's going to happen. But with this, you can measure a direct return on investment very, very quickly. You get feedback every single day. And so tracking, if you're not tracking correctly, you are flying blind, because when you log into your ad account, if you don't know which ads brought you phone calls or which ads brought you forms or which ads brought you chat, then there's no way to optimize the account and improve upon what you're getting. So that's the first issue is first, you are flying blind when it comes to optimizing your account. Now, the other problem with not tracking is think of Google like a doctor, right? When you go to the doctor, they ask you, what are your symptoms? What are you feeling? And from there, they start to draw conclusions and they come up with a plan in order to help you get better, right? Google is the same way. You are feeding Google data on what's happening on your site and in your account. You're telling Google, hey, this keyword is doing very good for me, or hey, this ad is performing very well for me. It's getting me phone calls. And Google has an algorithm that will go out and find more people who look like those phone calls and show your ad to them. So they're optimizing your ad based on 70,000 different signals to show it to the best possible person at the best possible time when they're searching for you. So if you're not giving Google valuable intel back, it can optimize your ads to a lower performing audience or a lower performing segment. And I've seen this in really large accounts where it can take an entire account and over the course of 2 weeks, it can optimize towards a bad traffic source and everything gets thrown off, sales data, all that stuff. So there are two components when it comes to tracking. Number one, you are flying blind. You don't really know what's happening in your account. And number two, Google is flying blind and they're the ones spending your money. So you really don't want somebody, with their eyes closed spending your money and not knowing what's going on. And so tracking is huge. And there are 3 things that we track. And I'm actually going to break out of this presentation because again, I think this is one of the most important things and show you how we track these things. So the first is what's called a form submission. This is what we call it. And this is when someone goes to your site and they fill out a contact form. And this is a very valuable interaction on your site. In fact, it's probably one of the most valuable interactions. We don't track things like page views and stuff like that. That's already auto tracked. We don't really keep track of it. It's a vanity metric. Calls. So this is something that years ago you were not able to track. And now you're actually able to track phone calls on your website, which is super valuable. And I'll show you exactly how we do that. And then the last thing is chats. And chats, not a lot of people do chats, but it's actually a pretty significant portion of lead flow for a lot of attorneys. In some cases, we've seen chats be 30% of the leads that come in. So if you're not running chat, you can consider running it. Again, you can track it, test it, see if it's working. And if it is, great, continue running chat. So let me break out of this presentation really quick. And I'm going to open up our website and just talk you through what tracking looks like on here and how this all works. So this is our website's homepage. Okay. And I know how many people visit this page every single month. I know how many people call this phone number, and I'll show you how to do that. And I know how many people fill out this form, and I'm going to show you exactly how I know all that stuff. So there is a free platform out there. This is called Google Analytics. And what this shows me is all of the interactions happening on our website. So you can see that there's actually a real-time dashboard here. It shows me that there is one person on my site right now, and it's actually me. Boom, Land O'Lakes, Florida. That's where I am. So it knows my location. It knows what state I'm in. It knows what time zone. It knows everything about me. And there's also profiles built on me in the back end of this thing. So Google knows a lot about you. So that's the real-time analytics. Now, the other cool thing that this shows is your audience. So it shows different things like the demographics of the people on your site. It shows their interests. It shows their technology. So I'll go into here really quick just to show you. It'll show you their browsers. So the most common browsers for our site in the past 7 days are Google Chrome, Safari in-app. What that means is Facebook, because it does Safari in-app, Safari, Android. So this is very valuable information, because if I go to my website and I see that, oh, it doesn't look that good on Chrome, I need to improve that, right? Very valuable intel. The other cool thing it shows you here is different devices on your website. So these are the top devices visiting my website. The Apple iPhone, the Apple iPhone 11, the Apple iPhone Plus, a lot of Apple users. Apparently it's all Apple users. And that's the last 7 days. Like if I go back here 30 days, it'll show me more stuff, right? Apple iPhone, Apple. So apparently all of our clients use Apple. But this gives you an idea of the power of this tool, and it's free. Now, again, we're talking about different things here. This is more granular type metrics. What we want to know is who is filling out that form and how could we possibly know that? So I'm going to show you what this looks like. So there is something called goals in this platform, and what we call them are thank you page goals. And so what that means is when someone fills out this form on the website, they are redirected to another page. It's called a thank you page. Now, we do that for a few reasons. Number one, for client experience, they know that something's happened. They know the form has been submitted, and they're now seeing a page that says, thank you so much for submitting your information. We will get in contact with you soon. That is their confirmation that, yes, I filled out the form and it actually worked. If you've ever filled out a form and nothing happened, you're like, did it work? Maybe it didn't work. I don't know. That's sometimes why you'll get duplicate submissions on your site. If your site doesn't do that, you'll get a whole bunch of people submitting a bunch of times. They'll keep clicking the button. So having that feedback for the client is very important, because then it's confirmation that your site's working. That's the first interaction with you. You want it to be good. The second thing that does is it also lets Google Analytics know that, yes, someone has filled out the form, because the only way they can get to that thank you page is by filling out the form. So we're using that action of transferring them to another page to confirm to Google that, yes, they just filled out the form because they reached this page. And so we define that as a goal. We say every time someone hits this page, count it as a goal and count it as a form submission. And so you can see here, it's called thank you page goal. And you could see in the past, whatever time frame this is, 30 days, I've had 187 of those. So 187 people have filled out some sort of form on my site and gone to a thank you page. Now I'll show you what that looks like in real time. So I'm going to go here to conversions, and I am going to fill this out and hit submit. Boom. Thank you. So thank you. So we can get in touch. Please book a call. There's a video of me, and there's my calendar. All right. So they're on the thank you page now. Now we're going to go to Google Analytics, and you can see that this thing just fired right here. This little bar is showing that a thank you page event just fired. So 2 of them happen because I count duplicates here. I count them on a couple different sites, but you see that this thing is actively tracking that. So that is how we track forms. And I highly, highly recommend you do this on your website, because now you'll start to figure out what is working. And just to show you what that looks like, if I go to acquisition here and I go to all traffic and I go to the source medium, it will show me how many people from direct none filled out my form. This means that they typed in my site directly. People from Facebook, I got 2 in the last 7 days here from Facebook. Another Facebook referral, I got 8 from Facebook referral. Down here, Facebook, I got 3. Down here, Calendly, I got 2. So you can see that now I know my sources, and I know that, okay, this source is doing very good for me for forms. This source is not doing so good. Maybe I should stop spending money there. Maybe I shouldn't prioritize that. So super powerful stuff. That is the first event that we track on the site. Okay. Now, the next event that we track on the site, and it's almost just as important, if not for attorneys, it's actually more important, because you guys get a lot more phone calls than I do. So when I go back here on this site, I'm going to try and have you see this. It's actually hard to see. I want you to focus on this number right here. You see this 844-397-1249 number? I want you to look at that when I type in my website. It's going to happen really fast. If you don't see it, don't worry about it. I'll explain what's happening. It actually happened too fast. Let me try and refresh this. I just want you to see the number flicker. It flickered really, really quick there. But what happens is we put a software program on here. I'm going to show you this program. All it is a tiny piece of code that you put on the website. And what that code does is it finds your number on the site everywhere, and it will replace it with a tracking number dynamically. So there's a few numbers that it will replace it with. And what it does is when I visit this site, that number is assigned to me. And now when I call that number, it stamps my session with all of my session details. So it tells CallRail, which is the program I'm about to show you, it tells CallRail that this guy came from Google Ads. He called you on this page. He called you from this device, and the call was longer than 60 seconds. We're going to count that as a conversion. We're going to count that as a favorable event on the site. So super powerful, because now we have insight into how many people are filling out the form and how many people are calling us. And today, most of the traffic these days is mobile. So a lot of calls happen. And so this is what CallRail looks like. And I'm actually going to do a test call so you can see. So when you have CallRail on your site, this is what the activity will look like. You can see that Facebook ads called me 4 times today, and I avoid their calls, which is why they're 45 seconds a piece. But you can see that they're from California, and this even records the call if I wanted to. So I can see what they were saying, or if you have like a receptionist answering your phones, you can see what they're saying to your potential clients. This next call here, this person came directly to my website. That's why it says direct. It was on May 10th. It was a 4-minute call. I answered that call, and it was a law office in Atlanta. And there's a bunch of more details there. Facebook calls me a lot. This is another call from Google Ads. So you get the idea, right? I have a bunch of insight into what's happening. Now I'll show you what happens when I call this number. I'm going to call the number on my site. It's 844-397-1249. So I'm calling this, and now I'm going to refresh CallRail, and you're going to see. So right here, here's my call. It's website. I'm direct. It says in progress, and this is the caller ID associated with. It's actually ringing to my phone. So you see it says empirical call. So now I know that a call is coming from my website. And if I answer it, it's tracked right here. So this is how you track phone calls. This software is not that expensive. It's like $30 a month, but it gives you tremendous insight. And this is why people don't track things in Google. It's a little bit complicated, right? To put all these things together, but we've shown you exactly how to do it. And I have videos on my YouTube channel of these step-by-step directions on how to track these things. So anyone have any questions on that? If you have questions, you can save them to the end. But tracking is one of the most overlooked components of Google Ads. So to reiterate why it's so important, it tells you what's working and it tells Google what's working. If both of you don't know what's working, then you don't know if you're making money or if it's an effective source or not. And so this is the first thing that we always look at in a Google account, because if there's no tracking, we don't know what's happened in the past. So let's say you spent $100,000 on Google or $10,000 on Google, and you're like, hey, I have all this data. Let's take a look at it before we make any decisions. But we take a look and there's nothing in there. The whole account is useless. We're starting from scratch. Okay, so tracking, huge. I can't stress it enough. Enough of tracking. So the next thing we're going to talk about is smart campaigns. And this goes back to Google being a good guy and a bad guy, right? So smart campaigns have evolved over the years. And the reason that they were created is for you to be able to run ads very quickly. Google needs a low barrier for entry for advertisers to come in and start using their platform. And so what a smart campaign is designed to do is to have you put in your website. Google will scan your website and get context from it, and then it will just create ads. Now, it's going to run ads on a few of their different networks, which is scary all by itself. I'll explain what that means in a few seconds here. But the gist of it is they are scanning a few pages of your website and creating campaigns based on that. So they don't necessarily know your business goals. Let's say you're a firm that does a few different practice areas. You haven't told Google which one you want to focus on. They're just going to run ads based on whatever they want. So that's the first problem. The second problem is you have no control over these campaigns. They do everything. So that's good because you don't have to do anything, but it's bad because you're giving Google the reins to go spend your money however it sees fit. And usually it doesn't do a very good job. Now, the other thing that is wrong with these campaigns is if you haven't set up tracking because you're looking for a low barrier to entry, these campaigns are built on the algorithm. They are driven by number of conversions coming through your website or your ads. And so if you're not pumping them with information, they're not that smart. it's like a joke we actually say here. They're kind of like dumb campaigns because they don't know what they're doing. They're just sending traffic to your site any way they see fit. So they're really dangerous from that standpoint because they look really good. They get a bunch of cheap clicks, you get a bunch of traffic, but 9 times out of 10, you're not converting that traffic at all. Now, the other thing that these campaigns typically do, and this is why that sometimes you get tricked into thinking they're doing good, is they will buy your brand name. So whatever your firm's name is, let's say your firm's name is Empirical 360. Google will actually buy the keyword Empirical 360. It's a very cheap keyword because usually brand names are not that expensive because not a lot of people are searching for them. So they're not highly competitive unless you're a PI attorney and you run, billboards nationally and everybody knows your name. Then your keywords are a little bit more expensive. But your keywords specifically, if you're a smaller firm or even a decent sized firm, typically your keyword is not going to cost that much. And Google knows that. And they know that traffic is usually decent because people are searching for your firm. It could be referrals, it could be existing clients, whatever it is. They typically buy that keyword. And as a result, it looks like the campaigns are doing good because, oh my gosh, these people are calling and asking for me. Well, they were looking for you anyway, and Google's just stealing that traffic. So again, it's another tricky way that Google is taking credit for something that you've done and making themselves look good and getting paid for it. So smart campaigns are a little tricky that way. The next issue that we have with smart campaigns is not only do they buy your keyword, so your firm's name like Empirical 360, but because Empirical 360 is related in context to another marketing firm, or in your case, another family law firm or estate planning law firm, it will buy their keyword also. And traditionally, this is called competitor traffic. And competitor traffic is usually very low quality because this is someone looking for your competitor. They want to talk to them. Either they're an existing client or they've been referred to that competitor and they want to do business with them. So it's usually the lowest quality traffic you can go after. So it's doing a couple things here. Number one, it's optimizing to events it probably doesn't know what it's doing. It's buying your brand name to make it look like a rock star when in reality, it's not actually doing anything. And then it's buying your competitors' names, which is low quality traffic that could frustrate you if you're getting calls from it. So smart campaigns as a whole, again, they're designed to get people running ads and running ads fast. Like you literally can click 3 buttons and they start running. But they do a horrible job of actually getting you quality leads. So Google's idea here is you dabble with Google Ads, hopefully you get some results, and then you start to invest in either agencies running your ads or your own education to run the ads and improve upon what you're getting. Because it is a powerful platform, but if you use these types of campaigns, you get burned. So key concept here is stay away from smart campaigns. If you're looking for a low barrier way to start running some sort of Google ad, I recommend you run Google Local Service Ads. That is a pay-per-lead program designed specifically for attorneys. So if you want more information on that, email me after this and I'll send you a presentation I did on how to set that up. That is what I recommend if you're looking for a low barrier to entry and you don't want to hire an agency or someone in-house to do this for you. Okay. This next one is another huge nuance in Google. And I know that all of this stuff sounds really complicated. It is somewhat complicated. Google is, like I said, it's kind of a bear. Match type targeting. And this is one of those recommendations that Google gives you that is a really bad recommendation. And so what a match type is it helps you control which searches Google can trigger your ads for. So you can use broad match to show your ads for a wide variety of search terms, or you can use exact match to get a very specific set of search terms. And I'll give you an example, right? I have shoes there for a reason. So let's say someone types in shoes into Google and you are targeting shoes on broad match. So you're saying, hey, Google, anytime someone types in shoes or anything related to shoes because it's broad, show my ad. So that's great, right? Someone types in shoes, it triggers your ad. Yay, you got shoe traffic. But because it's broad, whenever someone types in boots or sneakers or sandals or socks or shoe cream, whatever, or shoe spray to help your shoes smell better, and you don't sell any of those things, you can see how this can become really problematic very quickly. You're getting a whole bunch of traffic that's not related to what you want because you're telling Google, hey, anything related to shoes, go get it. Now, in the context of attorneys, this is very, very problematic because the word attorney is related to, 15 other practice areas. So if you target the word divorce attorney, Google is going to think, well, since the word attorney is in there, this could be related to personal injury attorney, or it could be related to immigration attorney, or it could be related to estate planning attorney. You get the idea. They're going to show your ads for a bunch of different practice areas that you are not practicing, which is why you'll get really bad traffic. You'll get things like, this person is calling me for real estate and I'm doing divorce. Why are you calling me? It's not because they don't know what they're doing when they call you. It's because Google is showing your ad to people based on context. Again, Google does not know your business like you know it. They are all based on context and relevance. So again, pretty dangerous thing here. So what we do is we target based on phrase or exact match. Now, what that means is phrase match, the phrase itself has to be in search term. So when we target the word divorce attorney has to be in their search term some way, somehow. So we know that they're looking for divorce and we know that they're looking for an attorney. So if they search best divorce attorney, our ad comes up. If they search top divorce attorney, our ad comes up. If they search for personal injury attorney, our ad does not come up because the word divorce is not in there. Now, it gives you a lot of variation, but it still keeps divorce attorney in the search term, which we know is a great keyword. Now, exact match is the most specific version. And this is pretty much Google's way of saying only come up for divorce attorney or very close variants. So divorce attorney, divorce lawyer. So you're only coming up for very, very specific search terms, or best divorce attorney. So it's giving you a lot more control over the type of traffic that's coming to your landing pages and or your website. So that's why it's so powerful to use these match types. And this is why a lot of accounts get burned, is they will start with broad match because most people don't even know that these are available if you just started running Google Ads. And Google recommends running broad match. So they're saying, hey, you should put your ads on broad match. And the reason they do that is because they know you're going to get a bunch of clicks and you're going to spend a bunch of money and they're going to make a bunch of money. So again, very self-serving on Google's part, a small nuance that can crash a campaign. Like this one tiny nuance, everything I've talked about so far, though, this one item can completely kill an account. So that's why I've talked about these main ideas. So this next one relates to keywords as well. And this is another one that is huge as far as getting higher quality leads. Now, there's something called negative keywords in an account, and negative keywords let you exclude search terms from your campaign and help you focus on the keywords that matter to you and your customers. So what does that mean, right? When someone types in top divorce attorney, because we're doing phrase match, we like that, right? We like to be referred to as the top divorce attorney. Or someone types in best divorce attorney. We love that. Keep it coming. But let's say someone types in free divorce attorney, or free divorce attorney advice, or pro bono attorney, or cheap wills and trusts, or DIY estate planning, right? We don't like those words. We don't like free. We don't like pro bono. We don't like cheap. We don't like DIY. So how can we stop coming up for that? What we do is we put in negative keywords. So what we're telling Google is, hey, anytime this keyword is being searched, don't show our ad. So this does a couple of things for us. Number one, the traffic that we do get is higher quality. And number two, it excludes us from getting that worse traffic. So we're saving money. So it's like a double whammy. We're saving money and we're getting better traffic. And this really, really improves the efficiency of the account until you start getting really high quality traffic. So again, what you would do, and we actually do this every day for our accounts, is you go in there and you can see exactly what someone types in to trigger your ad. So if they type in free, pro bono, or let's say it's another county or another city and it's not related to you, you can put in negative keywords, exclude that traffic, and your account gets cleaner and cleaner and cleaner over time. Now, a little hack that we do is we start with these keywords that we know are bad. So you can start with free, you can start with pro bono, cheap, DIY, and you can kind of brainstorm other keywords that you don't want to come up for. And as a result, you're going to start with a very clean account. So super powerful. Again, negative keywords. Not a lot of people take the time to do them. They're very easy to do, and they make a huge, huge impact on the account as far as quality of lead. So anybody can get leads, but you want quality leads. This is one of the things that drives quality leads. And so this last one is super important. This is actually one of the most important things. And this is rarely done when people run ads themselves or they've never run ads before. So first, I'll define what a landing page is, and I'll talk about how we use them. So I'm going to read the definition because from Google. In digital marketing, a landing page is a standalone web page created specifically for a marketing or advertising campaign. It's where a visitor lands after they click in an email, an ad, or whatever it is. And so pretty much what it is when you have an advertisement, the page is designed specifically for the advertisement itself. And so I like to talk about a scent trail in Google, right? So how people find you in Google is they type in a keyword, And then we want our ads to match what they're typing in. So I'm going to keep using divorce as an example because it's easy. So someone types in divorce attorney, right? Our ad is going to say top divorce attorney in Tampa. That's where we're located. So right off the bat, they're getting exactly what they asked for, right? They typed in divorce attorney and now they see it on the ad. So it's like a scent trail, right? They've typed it in and the scent trail is alive. They've seen the ad. Now, when they click the ad, if they go to a page that has nothing to do with divorce, then they're going to be like, what the heck? You said you were a divorce attorney. Now I'm seeing insurance litigation on here. Do you do divorce or whatever? So again, you want it to be relevant to what they're typing in. And so having a dedicated page for an advertisement gives you that relevance, and that relevance can make a massive impact on your conversion rate. And so just to give you an example of what people normally do, what they normally do is they take people from their ad and they send them to their homepage of their website, right? They spent a bunch of money on their website and they want it to look good and they want people to see it because, again, they paid money for it. But homepages usually convert between 5 and 10%. 10% is very generous. 5% is more likely. Landing pages like this one here typically convert between 20 and 30%, usually closer to 30%. So you're getting double or triple the output of the page because it's relevant to what they're searching for. We're giving them exactly what they ask for. So that is doubling your lead output and doubling your sales because you're using a landing page. Now, let me draw some points about this page here and what makes it so special, right? It looks pretty plain, it looks pretty boring, but this page converts like crazy. So if you look at this page, right, there's no navigation at the top. So there's no blog, there's no about us, there's no contact us. It is very watered down. It shows the logo and the phone number. So we have a call to action right above the fold. It's one of the first things you see, especially on the mobile. So you can see the mobile there. There's a little button to click to call. The other thing is the page itself has the exact keyword we're targeting. So it says, call a caring Texas divorce lawyer. It also has the location. So we're being extremely relevant to what they're searching for. They're looking for a divorce attorney in Texas. That's exactly what they're getting on this page. Next, it has a few supporting points or value propositions. So client-centered, never afraid to go to trial, free consultations, affordable payment plans. Those are the highlights that they want to know right off the bat. The other thing it has is above the fold, so meaning they don't have to scroll to see it, is the form. So we're making it very easy for these people to convert. They're not having to hunt around a website to find a form or to find a phone number. Like if you go to your website, you don't see your form or your phone number right away, and you add those things, chances are it'll convert higher right off the bat. So we're making it easy for these people to fill out the form or call, which is the event that we want to optimize towards. There's also chat there. But again, the page is very, very focused to what they're searching for. And we're making it easy for them to see what they want and how to get it, calling or filling out the form. So again, landing pages, while they may be tedious because you create a page per keyword. So if this wasn't a family attorney, there would be a page about family law. There'd be a page about custody. There'd be a page about, father's rights, whatever it is that they're doing. We would create a page per keyword that they target. So when they get there, they get exactly what they're asking for. So super, super powerful stuff with the landing pages. And again, this is not done very commonly because it's a lot of work and most people just don't know that it can have this big of an impact. So some of the common mistakes to reiterate here is sending people to a general page, usually the homepage. The other thing is not having a clickable phone number. So on mobile, make sure that that button can be clicked so they can call you. If not, you're missing out on potential phone calls. Not having the service or concern at the top of the page. So divorce, estate planning, whatever it is. The other thing that we like to put on the pages are credibility and testimonials. So if you have badges like ABOs, super lawyers, bar associations, anything that you're affiliated with, clients take those very seriously. Putting them on the page does help conversion rate. Testimonials, especially from Google, really, really helps. So we put the Google testimonials on the page as well, and that will increase conversion rates in some cases. And then not having the values above the fold. So putting like a catchy headline up there that's not really related to the practice area or like a branding type headline doesn't really help your conversion rate. Put what they're looking for at the top of the page and they will convert higher. All right. So that was it. I know that doesn't seem like a whole bunch of points, but those points that I selected are the biggest mistakes people make when they're running ads. And if you take the time to actually fix these things, I guarantee you, like I'll put it in writing, even though I'm talking to attorneys, I guarantee you that you will convert higher in your Google Ads accounts and you will get better results. And if you guys are interested and you want to learn more about this type of stuff, We have a free Facebook group that we just relaunched. I'm putting very actionable content in there. This is more strategic, high level content. The content in that group is going to be very, very actionable. So I'll show you how to set up texting. I'll show you how to set up automated emails, how to improve your sales closing rates with techniques that we are helping our clients implement. And so we know they're working. So again, very actionable content in here. This is more strategic based content. Go ahead and join the free Facebook group. If you go to our Facebook page, Empirical 360, you can join it in there. Anyone have any questions about Google Ads? If you're running Google Ads and you're not getting the results you want, and you have questions, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Don't be shy. Yeah, there will be a recording. I'll be sending out a recording. It'll be a YouTube link, and you can view it later for sure. Any other questions? If there's no questions, I appreciate you guys' time. I love talking about this stuff. So if you ever want to schedule a one-on-one, look over your Google account, or you have any questions about advertising in general, let me know. Again, we've done a lot of advertising over the years, but I will be sending out this recording probably tomorrow. And any questions you have, you can always email me, Elliot at Empirical 360. I appreciate your time and have a great night.